Hello everyone, my name is Christian. Welcome to Tekpon. Today our guest is Matt, the CEO at SUMA SaaS. Hello.
Hello, Christian. How are you? Pleasure to be here.
Very good. Nice to have you on the podcast. Thank you for joining. At first, please tell us what your company does.
Sure. Well, again, my name is Matthew Cole. I'm the CEO of SUMA SaaS, which is Latin America's leading provider of software as a service for small businesses. We operate in Mexico, Chile, and Argentina with plans to expand to other markets in Spanish-speaking Latin America.
That's great. What is the biggest problem that you solve for the companies there?
We help companies evolve and be more successful by having more control over their finances, more visibility, able to take better decisions with data, and also to be more efficient and more productive with their time. So small business owners and the accountants that serve them can spend more time with their clients and less time fighting with Excel.
Right. And what do you say are the most loved features of the product? Let's say top
3. We provide electronic invoicing service, which is really the atomic unit of the digital world,
Yes.
Or at least the digital business. We provide accounting and tax software, which allows companies to prepare and file their tax returns to keep their books. And we provide payroll calculation and payroll liquidation services, which allow companies and accountants to process the payroll of hundreds of thousands of employees in Latin America.
Okay, awesome. How about the pricing? How does it work?
Our plans start as low as $25 a month with no long-term contracts. It's a 100% SaaS model. Basically, we try to provide a very high-quality, world-class service at a very accessible price point. Obviously, larger companies and larger accounting firms tend to adhere to our, more expensive, more robust plans. But we have plans for every shape and size of small business.
That's great to hear. And do you have a favorite customer success story that you can share with us? So let's say how you helped the company improve their numbers.
Yeah, no, it's actually a very personal story. Actually, before we invested in Nubox, which is our company in Chile, which we acquired in 2016, my personal accountant here in Chile became a customer of Nubox. And she started with me. I was one of her first clients. I think I was her first client about 8 years ago. And today, she services about 30 different companies. She has about 5 people working for her. Her name is Nidia. Her company is Sub BPO. And she has both the accounting and the payroll product. So not only is my own personal accountant, but now she serves 30 different small businesses. And she's really grown with us, and a success of not accountants also are entrepreneurs. And it's a great story to see an accountant taking the leap to start her own accounting firm and then growing so successfully with Nubox.
That's amazing. But please tell me the founding story. How did you end up in that region? And you said that SUMA SaaS bought Nubox. So can you elaborate on that, please?
Yeah, no, it actually, this company, the idea for this company was really a joint venture between myself and Riverwood Capital, which is one of the leading private equity growth investors globally, with a particular focus on Latin America. And together we saw an opportunity of a very large blue ocean of small businesses in Latin America, many of them still operating in a very manual, old-fashioned process, and really, unintended by high-quality software, and very fragmented. Each country really with its own software, and so we sat down and began mapping the market. We saw an opportunity to consolidate and build a regional player by acquiring the best of breed in every single country. So we acquired first Nubox in Chile, below the SUMA corporate structure. Then we acquired Colpe in Argentina, and then we acquired Bind in Mexico, our most recent acquisition in 2021. And we see an opportunity to continue to build a regional company with the best of breed players in every single country.
Nice. So you are the founder of the company, easily said.
Yeah, I mean, together with Riverwood, we co-founded the company.
Okay, awesome. But when exactly did you start the company? What year?
We started on this project in 2015. So, coming up on 9 years. We're just getting started. We have another 90 years to go. This is an infinite project. But yeah, we've been at this for about 9 years.
Okay, and I saw on LinkedIn that you mentioned that you are first a CFO to Nubox, then CEO, then chairman. You worked at the company before you acquired it, or?
Yeah, no, it's funny. When we first started the business with Riverwood, I was a co-investor with them in the project, a board member and chief financial officer. Um, and then about 4 years ago, I took over the role of CEO, which allowed us to have one single corporate CEO and then very strong CEOs in our business units in each company, in each country. And that's sort of how I evolved into moving from the dark side of the financial world, being a CFO, into the side of the force as a CEO, with closer to the customer, closer to product development, and closer to everything we do in the revenue and commercial area as well.
Okay, that's awesome. I just wanted to clarify that so that
Yep.
everybody understands, and also I understand. But please tell me, how competitive is that space? You said you saw an opportunity there, but I'm
Yeah.
curious to
Well,
know the
our
stage.
biggest competitions are really Excel and pen and paper.
Yeah,
We there's a massive opportunity. There are more than 28 million small businesses in Latin America. Um, Less than 10% of them really with a digital solution where they're able to keep track of their business results. And many of them still operating with manual processes or multiple spreadsheets in a very disaggregated way. And there are some excellent players in the space, and we have a lot of respect for them, with lots of humility on our side. But our biggest challenge to overcome is changing the habits of small businesses and accountants to move onto the cloud, to be able to take advantage of powerful software and now artificial intelligence in order to be more efficient and more productive with their time.
awesome. And apart from the three countries that you mentioned, are you looking to expand even more in the region, or how do you see
Yeah,
it?
we're constantly reviewing potential acquisition opportunities.
So this is how you get
We
into a new market. You acquire a company that's already there.
Yeah, in each country we've acquired a company that's already been established with a
Okay,
strong team, a product, a customer base, a brand, revenues, cash flow positive in many cases.
nice.
We're going to continue that strategy. We're excited about the prospects of moving into new markets, Spanish-speaking markets like Chile, like Peru and Colombia. And then in the larger markets where we operate, like Mexico, we see an opportunity to continue to acquire other businesses in adjacent software segments.
Okay, right, makes sense. But you keep them as separate products and entities, or do you want them to make it just one product in the future?
We see an opportunity to have one single integrated platform, which combines, the best practices, workflows, all of the economies of scale of having one single platform. However, it is also important that our software be compliant in each local market, because we need to obviously conform to the local tax
Yes,
norms, the local accounting norms, the local payroll requirements. And so that is a challenge that we have, a challenge that any, I think, multinational company has, which is how can you maintain the sort of global standards, best practices, but also be very, respectful and be customized for the local market. And that's something which actually inspires us to find the best of both worlds.
and I totally understand. Okay, thank you for sharing. And overall, how many people are at the company, let's say, in
We have
total?
about 300. We have about 300 employees today
Okay,
between the three countries. We have about 20,000 customers, 100,000 small businesses supported, and we're at run rate ARR of close to $25 million, and projected to grow next year by over 30%. So, we're very happy about the results. It's a massive opportunity.
that's
Uh,
amazing.
and it's really due to the tribute of our team who comes into the office every day. I have very little to do with it, but it's a really tribute to them who come in, who are building lines of code, who are talking to our customers, who are being sure that we have the world's best customer support, um, and we're out there making sure that we have a very clean and concrete value proposition, which attracts new customers as well.
That's amazing. But it's a private company, so you're not fundraising anymore, right?
No, we're cash flow positive, so we're not fundraising anymore, and we've had great partners, Riverwood Capital and Partners for Growth, and you know, we continue to see, there'll be great opportunities without any cash. We should be able to continue to grow at this pace for the next 100 years.
Amazing. I don't know about your experience getting into the market first, because I guess you're not from Latin America originally.
Yeah.
How was your
No.
experience first
Yeah, no,
getting to know the market?
I was born in Boston, Massachusetts. I've had the good fortune to live and work in Latin America over the last 25 years.
Nice.
But still, every day is an adventure for me. With lots of humility, I came to this market to also be an entrepreneur, and I think it's difficult, but I think it's difficult to be an entrepreneur everywhere. It's difficult in the United States, it's different in Europe, it's difficult in Asia, Africa,
Yes.
Latin America. But one thing what's interesting is that the sort of universal laws apply, which is that if you can break into the market with a differentiated product and service, you have very clear who your ideal customers are. You can provide a clear value proposition and generate value for those customers at an accessible price point. There'll always be a market for that type of service.
Amazing. Do you have any, let's say, questions regarding product market fit, or are you 100% sure that you found product market fit?
If we found it, it's definitely a moving target. The market speaks and evolves, and we need to listen to the market, and we need to evolve with it. It's a danger to evolve too quickly. You don't want to be too far ahead of the market. You want to be ahead of it, but not too far ahead of it.
Yes.
But you certainly don't want to be behind it either. And so, I would sort of liken it to a bit of balance, right? As you try to get balance and keep balance, you sort of need to overcompensate to one side and overcompensate to the other side. And we're constantly trying to find that balance, trying to incorporate data into our decision making, but also trying to incorporate a lot of conversation with our customers, a lot of qualitative information as well, and in the end, have an opinionated product roadmap, which is based on a combination of data and gut feel, and always trying to be just ahead of what the market is, just slightly ahead of what the market is demanding, and that keeps us on our toes. Clearly we need to evolve just as fast or faster if the market's evolving, and that's something which is a company-wide effort, not only the product area.
Thank you for the transparency. I appreciate it. What do you say were the biggest challenges that you had throughout the journey, or some mistakes that you made?
Oh man, I have a PhD. I have a PhD in mistakes made, so I can definitely. No, I think a couple of things again, which I think for all entrepreneurs, end up learning sooner or later. I think number one is focus. I think where we've been successful as a company is generally when we've really reduced and boiled down our strategy to one single priority and been executing on that priority. Number two, I think capital efficiency. So in good times and bad, I think being sure that you're allocating your capital, your time, your resources, your team to the highest ROI projects, rather than spreading them thin. And sometimes you have to make very concentrated bets. You have to iterate, if those bets don't pay, and usually they don't pay on the first attempt. And then number three, team. I think I'm a big sort of fan of Jim Collins and the book Good to Great, and he talks about level 5 leadership. And I think one of the most important things is to start with is to make sure you have the right people on the bus, people better than you, who can actually help you answer the questions rather than execute your vision, and make sure they're sitting in the right seats, and then make sure you're constantly reviewing that team and being sure that they're all just excited on today as they were on their first day, and they're evolving faster than the company is evolving.
I love this. And I have a question regarding go-to-market. What would you say is the most successful strategy for getting new customers today? It depends on the region, on the company.
The absolutely most successful is when one customer refers another. There is still today nothing more powerful, nothing with a higher ROI
Yes.
than having word of mouth. And it's sort of a bit paradoxical that after all of this technology, all of this digital marketing, all of this,
Yeah.
sort of science of demand generation and all talk of conversion rates, there's nothing like having, a trusted friend or colleague, or your accountant recommend a software for you to use. And I think it's something which, is easy to get distracted. Obviously, it presents challenge for companies that are just getting started.
Yeah.
But that today continues to be our most successful. And today we're doing it at scale. I mean, more than 20% of our new customers come in via references from existing customers.
Wow.
We try to focus on turning our customers into fanatics, and really focusing on not only the net promoter score, but what percentage are promoters. I think is really important. Um, and and then, we ask our customers to refer. I mean, we are not shy. We ask our accountants to refer their small businesses, so that they can begin to collaborate in the cloud more efficiently. When an accountant's companies graduate into a software, we ask them that, sometimes they refer Nuvox in Chile, Bind in Mexico, Colpe in Argentina. We ask our accountants to refer other accountants. We feel like we've earned the right to ask. And they respond in kind. Sometimes I'm sure it happens organically as well, but it definitely, for all the entrepreneurs out there, don't be afraid to ask. If you feel like you're delivering superior service at
Yes.
at an accessible price point, don't be afraid to ask your best customers to refer. And if you're doing a good job, they're going to be happy to do it. So don't be shy, I guess, about that.
Yeah.
Right.
Thank you so much for this. And now for the last question regarding the company, I'd love to know the future vision for the company.
We have a big dream to empower more than 1 million small businesses in Latin America with simple yet powerful software. We think that there's a massive opportunity out there, a generational shift of small business owners and entrepreneurs who are starting companies today, and have an opportunity to harness the power of technology in a way that has never been possible. So, that starts with obviously all the work around digital invoicing, maintaining their business transactions in a single ledger, collaborating in the cloud with their employees, with their customers, with their suppliers, with their accountants, being integrated into the local financial system and accelerating their credit journey. So, and we feel if we can make small businesses more successful, we can impact the trajectory of economic growth and economic development. So, our mission is to increase the success and growth of small businesses, and therefore increase the success and growth of the development of Latin America.
Amazing. Regarding the personal side, I'd love to know how you started your career. So please tell us your journey, how you started, let's say after high school or college or college.
Well, I guess just on a personal note, when I was in university in the United States, I decided to do a year abroad in Argentina, which is when I fell in love with Latin America.
Okay.
In 1989, during another difficult time in Argentina, during another presidential transition in Argentina. And then when I went to work, as I mentioned, I come from the dark side, so I worked at investment banking at a New York City investment bank, which was a great training, but I decided pretty quickly after 4 years that I wanted to do something more entrepreneurial, and that's when I began to be more excited about being an entrepreneur, investing in startups, trying to help build companies rather than just sort of preserve them. And it took a while to unlearn some old habits and some new habits. But what got me out of bed every day is coming into the office and being faced with lots of uncertainty, lots of volatility, lots of complexity, and working through those problems, building teams, and I get fulfilled through the success of the people that that work here. And so my single objective is to make the people around me more successful than me, and more successful than they ever think they could be. and make our customers, successful. And I get excited about building new things. Um, it's been quite a journey from going back to, where I was in college before I did my year abroad. But, when you try new things, you often learn new skills, and I suppose that's what's happened to me.
Thank you so much for sharing the story. And what would be your best piece of advice for a starting founder? Let's say after working at a larger company, this is your
Well,
story
I would
basically.
definitely, one of the advice is to think twice before you jump, because, really it's, um, I do think it is, well, my advice is going to take much longer than you think to be successful. Your probability of success is probably much lower than you think. And you're going to have to iterate. So probably the project that will end up being successful is not the same one that you started out with. And there are tons of examples of companies like Slack and Instagram and others, which started out with one business model and pivoted into another. And in fact, the most successful companies have done that. And then I think the other thing is, I do think it's really important to have a personal relationship with the problem. You can definitely take an academic approach to, sort of trying to map the market, find a problem, calculate the TAM, map the competitors. But there's nothing like having experienced the problem yourself. And all of us have, frustrations and problems. And so if you're frustrated, with something like the software that you're using, or, the restaurants in your neighborhood, or, the services you're getting from your service providers, or, the lack of a certain product for your newborn baby, or something that you wish you had, that you can't find for your pet.
Exactly. Yes.
I think those are the most successful entrepreneurs. Well, let me put it differently. I think it's a lot easier if you've had a personal experience and frustration with the problem, because you already have deep empathy for what it is to be a customer, and you can really channel that energy into the solution. And so it's a very bottoms up approach. So I would start with what you really are dissatisfied in your life, and then I would start to think about problems. And if there are a lot of other people who are dissatisfied with that same thing, then you have a pretty big town.
I love how you put it. That's great. Thank you. I have one last question that I ask everybody on the podcast before we close. What's your favorite software product that you use, but apart from your company?
It's funny. I was a very skeptical about Slack, to be honest, and I was somebody who not that I opposed it, but I definitely was not in favor of implementing Slack, and I still don't quite understand the secret sauce of Slack. But it's something that, as soon as we implemented it about 5 years ago, just completely took off. I couldn't imagine living without Slack. I'm not sure why it's better than email or all the other messaging, but I am a huge, huge promoter of Slack. And I think I would rip out almost everything else, including G Suite, if I could just keep Slack, because I think it's an amazing piece of software.
Thank you so much. Is there anything else that you want to share today on the podcast?
No, listen, just one more idea for everybody out there listening is that it's really difficult to be a small business owner. Many of us, have been in families where we've had entrepreneurs, who started restaurants or law firms or graphic design firms, or, different entrepreneurial projects. And all of us in our neighborhoods have small businesses out there. And it's a lot easier to order via the big e-commerce, or order, delivery, or go to the big box retailer. But I would really encourage everybody to support their small businesses. If you have a great small business in your neighborhood, like a small coffee shop, or a bookstore, or a flower shop, or a restaurant, or a small retailer, please support them, because what they do is difficult. They're going to be a little bit more expensive than probably buying from one of these massive companies, but you're going to get much more personalized service. You're going to make your neighborhood a more vibrant place. You're going to support a fellow entrepreneur, and yeah, it's a lot easier with one click to buy something from an e-commerce platform, but you can also buy from small businesses on e-commerce platforms as well. And so get out there and support your small businesses, because they really are the network and the fabric of what makes our economy is very, very vibrant. And so please put your money where your mouth is.
Thank you so much, Matt. You did fantastic, and I'm really grateful. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much.